Hello everybody, this is Carol from Friendly Quail. Welcome to Try Something New Tuesday. Today I'm making these frames out of using washi tape, and it was an idea I saw on Junk Journal Attic. She called it upside down frames, and the reason she called it that is because when these were cut, these are separate and they were turned around or they were mixed. Like this one was, from this piece, and I used a different piece to fill it in afterwards. So I made a couple that have the double frames on, and then I made some that I just used one frame. And today I'm going to show you how to make the frames, and I'll show you cutting because they were cut on using a Big Shot. So and I really like how they turned out. And then I glued them together with a card from Tim Holtz and put paper on the back so they could be used as a journal card. I'm also going to, coming up, use some of these frames that I'm going to be making today to do a shaker card for my bird journal that's coming up. So let me get these out of the way and we'll get started. You need to have a piece of paper. This is heavier than, I'm not sure what the GSM is, but it's heavier than copy paper. It's still paper. It's not cardboard. This seemed to work well for me. I'm using regular glue. If you want to use glue stick, I think that would work as well, just using it on here. But I just used this because she used glue on hers. So what you do is you put some glue going across about as wide as you think your washi tape strip is going to be. And then you pull out your washi tape and put a row on. I'm just going to show you a couple of these, how to do it, and then, well, that one's not working very good. And because then I've got one that's already at that step, so I can show you the next step, and I've got one at that step, so I can show you the next step. Okay, so this washi, I'm just going to line that up with the edge right on top of that glue. And I'm just letting these ends be over the edge for right now. Doesn't matter. Okay, so then let's see. If I'm going to do, maybe I'll do this piece next. Now you can make this any way you want. That you can have color coordinated. I'm using more of these neutral Tim Holtz type colors because that's what I'm doing right now. I did make one page that was all in black and white. Come on. There it is. All right. Now when I put my second row on, I'm going to go right up to or even just slightly over the piece right above. And then press it down. This one doesn't want to rip. Usually washi tape rips real easy. Okay, so you just continue doing that. Until you've got your paper filled up. I maybe have enough here to do 2 skinnier rows. Or okay, let's see. I'll put some of this skinny one on. And then I'll take another one. I'm kind of looking for something that's a little bit different color. Maybe this. And putting them so that if there's writing on, they're all going in the same direction. It does take a little while to do this, but I think the results are pretty cool. Okay, so I would continue doing this until I had this full. Like this. Voila. So this one, I'm going to put my glue needle in my glue for right now. Now, once you get this done, now you're going to use your paper cutter. Excuse me. I'm going to see where this is. I might pull you out a little bit so I get the whole paper cutter in there. Okay. I am going to cut these edges off. I'm going to go kind of right to the edge of the paper and make sure I have a straight edge. And I get all of those off. Okay. The other side as well. Go from this side. Right, get rid of those in the garbage can. And now you're going to start cutting this apart. I'm going to cut it first like about in half. Doesn't have to be exactly in half. I'm going to go kind of right like on the edge of this here. I didn't get that very good on this one. Okay, and then you maybe want to cut something off like that, and then maybe you want to cut something off like this, something off like that again, something off like this again, and another one. And I'm going to cut the other one as well. Sorry about that. This is bumping here. Now, none of these are the exact same size or anything. I'm not measuring. I'm just cutting them. Some are wider, some are more narrow. And okay, once that's done, now you're going to start reassembling them on another piece of paper, and I'm just using, this is a lightweight cardstock, which also would have worked for the other part of it. So what you start doing is you just start gluing things on, but I kind of liked to lay it out a little bit like this, because sometimes you get, you know, like this goes right to the edge if I do this. So that will work. Put something in like here. I'm just kind of laying it out, seeing how we're doing. This one might fit here. And if I have to cut just a little bit off, I'll cut just a little bit off. That's not a problem. So I might actually put this one here. So let's just start. I'll glue. I'm going to put glue on here. I do want to get my edges good, because I notice that if you don't have your edges glued well when you cut them out, that can be a problem. Now you're not going to get, whoops, this will not be a complete full page when you get done, because you're going to lose some. You're going to cut some off, you're going to go off the edge with some. And cut it off. You might come in and use a small piece in another area that you need a small piece for. But I probably get about, somewhere between 2/3 to 3/4 of it will be usable. Okay. Well, this one did kind of go in there, so I'm going to use that one. What they reminded me of were the Tim Holtz frames, and I like to use those, and so I thought, well, this is kind of cool. Put that one there. So I hope everyone's doing well today. I'm thinking, you know, we're getting a little bit into fall now. Of course, in Florida, that means peak hurricane. This one's going to fit right there. Usually they don't work out that well when you're random cutting. I mean, believe me, I usually have to cut some little pieces off. I can't believe these are just fitting in. It won't continue that way. That's just too good to be true. Nope. Well, if I just cut a little tiny bit off, it's going to fit. I'm going to cut just a little schnibble off the edge of here. Schnibble, that's a German word. We use that in Wisconsin. Okay. Which way do I want to put that on there? I think that'll fit in. So, I was listening to Anna from Made by Gurnath today, and she was talking about how every season has its own good qualities, and you know, she likes different things about each one. And and I was thinking, you know, I used to feel the same way. I did when I lived in Wisconsin. I miss that. I miss having the color changes of the leaves in the fall and the snow, even though it was crappy to drive in and that type of thing. It was pretty when the snow was coming down, and we used to snowshoe, and when I was younger, I downhill snow skied. And I really kind of miss the seasons like that. I really do. I'm going to cut that one down. And then I think I'm going to go on to the next step. You can measure it if you want to know what you're cutting off to make sure it's going to fit. And I'm just going to kind of cut this one off. Doesn't have to go all the way to the edge everywhere because you don't use the entire thing, which you shall see soon. But I did miss my spring flowers. I had a huge flower garden when we lived in Wisconsin. I'll turn this one around this way. And we had, you know, I had things blooming all the time. Anyway, I would just continue this. I would probably do something like this, cut this off, put something up there. I have one piece here that could go on like that. So then I would just fill in this space with part of this. I'll just turn it to the side or something. And I would continue doing that. So I've got some going this way, some going this way. I have a mixture of color. So I'm going to set this aside now and go to the next piece that's already done. So here is one of this one I did mostly whites and blacks. And now I'm ready to cut this one. Now I have a big shot, and I'm going to pull it up here in a minute, but I can't fit this whole width on it. So what I did is I cut it in half. And these are what I used here. Like this. And so I did, like, I cut it in half this way and put squares down here. And I put, I didn't cut it in half because now see here, I've got this brown here. So I just want to make sure that I've got enough that I can fit this on again over here. So I'm probably going to cut it somewhere around here. But first I'm going to cut it. Yeah, I'll just even make a little mark. The squares ones are going to go like this. So I can cut it somewhere in the middle right here. And then I'm going to cut it somewhere around here. Sorry, get this back out here. I have to find where I made my mark up here. Somewhere right in there. All right. And then I'm going to cut this in half somewhere right around in here. I'm kind of trying to get them a little bit straight. And I'm also going to cut some of this off. I wouldn't necessarily have to, but you know, I can just cut like this. because that fits and it'll work. Now I'm going to do a couple of them just like I did the first ones that I showed you. All right. Whoops. Okay. It's just not big enough in here. I'm going to put one of my pieces like this, and you might notice I had these kind of taped together. This is just using some tape that is not a permanent tape, and I have got it centered kind of on here so that this is about the same width as this, because this is what I'm getting. I'm going to get an extra piece in the middle right here, but I'm going to have to use another piece of tape to tape it in place, because it's wanting to move. Okay, because it is not regular tape, it's low tack, so it's kind of losing the tack here. And then I will put this on top, and I'm going to run that through. Ooh, I didn't have it very good on the board. It kind of went off the end here. Hopefully that worked okay. Let's check. Yeah, it looks like it cut all the way through. Top, bottom, everything else. So let's do a square one. Cut side. I've got cut side down here. I think that'll stay. If I sandwich it. Everything's falling off my desk. Woo! Because this is wobbly. And that looks good. I'll pull these off now. I'm going to push out or pull up the dies. And I am going to take this apart because I want to do a thicker one too. So this is waste, but I wouldn't throw it away. I'm going to keep this because if I want to use it as like I can piece this around a piece of acrylic or something like that. So I'm not going to throw that away quite yet. But this is the middle part. Now this you don't really use if you're making these as frames. So the way she called it upside down, you turn this somehow so that now it looks different in there. See? So that is how you would use it, just like she did, which was Junk Journal Attic. And you've got your little frames. Let me pull out the rectangle one. I have that one taped down more. Now, if you have a lot of washi tape, this is kind of a fun way to use it up. It takes a little while, but I just was watching television. This I will keep for in case I can use that. This would be how you would use that, and this piece you can have as a little journal card. I could put a little bird on there or something and have it in a little tiny pocket. So that is that. Now what I'd like to do is cut one that's a little wider, because I think that, in fact, maybe I'll do all squares, because I think I'd like to use a square one. So I'm wasting a little bit of it, but I can use it for something else. I'm going to put these, nope, that's a skinnier one. I need the wider one. Yeah, like that. That's going to give me a little bit wider, frame, which is probably a little bit more like what Tim Holtz's is, but it won't be as topsy-turvy because you won't be able to turn things around. Will I? Yeah, it'll just be one thickness, kind of. Okay, so I'm going to do this. See what I can bounce off of my radio now. I'm hitting everything on the end. Oh, this is so much fun. Woohoo! Let's have fun. Okay, now I'm also going to cut one out of here, because I'm going to have one on the front and one on the back. I gotta take this out though. I want to keep them taped together so they're the same size. I'm just trying to decide where to put it. The hands are just not gonna make it this time. All right. I should have taken off my glass mat. That's part of the problem. So now what I've got is a little bit heavier frame. And again, this could be used for something else. Some kind of decoration. Get rid of that. And I've got two the same size. Next week, I'm going to make shaker cards, and this one right here is going to get made into a shaker card. So that's it for today. You can have lots of fun playing with this. It doesn't take that long to get these glued together. What I did for when I made my other one, so as I pull out another piece of cardstock and I decide how I'm going to do it, you know, if I'm going to glue them together like this, I would be putting them like this, and I will find something that will go in the center of this. Now some of these are just a little bit too narrow, you know, like, or wide, one or the other. You have to kind of play around. See, I think she would look okay in there. And what I did then is, let's see. I put her in there, and I take this one out, and I put glue on here. That'll get it glued to the picture. And there we go. And it's not, these aren't glued together, but I think what I would do is I would put glue on the back of this because it's not falling apart. See, it's not exactly centered on there because she's not centered on the picture, but I centered her in the frame. Get some glue. Okay, very carefully. Now I can glue this down. I might even glue it, try to get it kind of right in the corner without me being in the picture. Now I'll let that dry for a little while and then I'll cut it out. Trying to decide if this one would work. This one's got like a family and they're standing in front of their car. These are a little bit too small. If I don't mind getting a little bit of the white around the edge, I could do one of these. Pretty close. Let me cut this apart. Some of these must be a little bigger than others because I really had trouble with that yesterday. Okay, I'm going to put her in there and get her where I want her in the frame. If this frame is like this. Get her straightened out. Okay, now without moving the outside one or her, very carefully, I am moving the outside one. You know what would work better? I'm going to glue her onto the background. And then glue this over. I want to make sure which way I have this. Yeah, that's easier. All right, and then I'll put glue on this one. Now I will link Junk Journal Addicts video below, as I watched her in order to learn how to do this. I'm doing it slightly different than she did, but not a whole lot. But you know, go ahead and watch her video. That would be good. And I will come back next week with something else that I want to try, and that's making shaker card. So hopefully that'll work. There. And then you cut those out, and you'll have lovely framed things. And because you put it on here, all you have to do is go around the edge a little bit with your yeah, it's good. Go around the edge with a little distress. I used the scorched timber on the other ones, and you'll have yourself some really nice cards. So let me pull these up close so you can see them up close. So this is Carol from Friendly Quill reminding you, do something you love to do every day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.